Coffee and convo, y'all. Let's get it. Yo, salute to everybody already here in the building, man. You guys know what time it is. We are back. Welcome to the latest installment of Coffee and Convo. I am your host, Graphk Raider, man. Salute to the greatest chat in YouTube history. As always, I appreciate every single one of you guys for being here with me on this beautiful Friday morning. Salute to Green Dot Gang, Pride and Purpose, Just Raiders, baby. Jordy, my sis, Erica Ramos. Everybody here in the building, CGR, we got some mob fathers here, man. Salute to Hug, my dog, J Raider, George, everybody, man. Get those likes up, wipe them feet. Also, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are not subscribed yet, we are getting closer and closer. I know I've been saying this for a while, but we're getting closer and closer to 30,000 subscribers. We cannot do that without you guys. Share out the stream. Let them know where we are. Hit that subscribe button. It's very, very difficult to continue to build your subscribers when the Raiders give this fan base nothing to root for. You know what I mean? But one thing I always say is, you guys, if the Raiders don't show up over here at Shieldmore, we will always show up. So salute, man. A lot to talk about today. You guys see the thumbnail. We talked about this briefly yesterday, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this situation because it looks as though Joe Burrow may be on the outs with the Cincinnati Bengals. And a specific NFL analyst pinpointed the Raiders as a team that may make some phone calls to see the availability of Joe Burrow. There's a few other teams we're going to talk about as well. And then we're going to talk about the Philadelphia game Sunday and all that other good stuff. Real quick, I want to say this as well. We had to cancel the Graphk and Wasted and Graphk show last night, you guys. Our apologies. Our brother Wasted, this is his busiest time at work. So he has a lot going on right now. So I'm talking about working 6 in the morning till 9 at night. So it's very difficult for us to try and get on the same page during the week because he is working like crazy right now. So salute to our brother Wasted. For those who have been asking where has he been, he has been busy keeping the main thing, which is his job. So salute to my brother, and we will try and run it back this weekend before the game Sunday. So salute to my guy Ant. What's up, bro? Hope everything is good. Appreciate you for real. Hey, man, Steez, I appreciate you, brother, and likewise, man. Likewise. Without you guys, this thing over here at the OLV Raiders Network does not work. So salute to my guy, Ant, man. Sean in the building. Yo, Graphk, listen to that work and appreciate you. I appreciate you as well. And Fuego says Joe Burrow, no on Raiders. Fire Pete Carroll and start all over. Raider Nation for life. So let's get to it. I kind of gave you guys a brief, we talked about it briefly yesterday about how I felt about potentially bringing in Joe Burrow. Now, I've said this countless times on this show. I've been doing this YouTube thing now, covering the Raiders for about 5 years. And I've said since day one that Joe Burrow is my favorite quarterback in football when healthy. Okay. So I don't want anyone to think that I'm changing my stance on this situation because I'm not. I've put out tweets and I got a few receipts that I'm going to show you guys today. There's even one recently that I put out in, I believe, February or March, where I was like, when Joe Burrow forces his way out of Cincinnati and the Raiders make the trade to bring him in with all of our salary cap in a full draft class and so on and so forth, right? And for those who have no idea what I'm talking about, Joe Burrow kind of had a presser the other day where he seemed very defeated. He seemed like he was kind of out of touch with what's going on in Cincinnati. They're losing a ton of games. He's been injured, countless times out there behind that terrible O-line. They can go out there and put up a 50 burger and still lose because their defense is so bad. And that's what happens when you pay your two receivers, top tier money, and your quarterback is getting paid at the top of the league, not only in terms of his position, but as a whole. Joe Burrow's contract is absolutely insane, in which he deserves every single dollar. When healthy, he is one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best, in football. But I got to say this. This is my stance on the whole Joe Burrow thing. Before we get to some of the articles and some of the words that has been said about, the Raiders being tied to Joe Burrow. Do I think that Cincinnati is going to trade him right now? I do not. I think that Cincinnati, we've seen what they did, their stance with their rookie, and we've seen what that was. We've seen the whole T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, them trying to get paid. And we've seen this countless times in Cincinnati. Trey Hendrickson, leaving Cincinnati, then coming back. And then I believe he went out to Florida because he didn't like the deal that they offered him. Like, Cincinnati will hold on for dear life to something that they want to keep in the building, regardless if it's the right deal for the player or not. Okay. So again, I don't think that Cincinnati is willing to completely hit the reset button. He's 29 years old. He's in the pinnacle of his career at this point. He got this team on a rookie deal to the Super Bowl where they almost beat the Los Angeles Rams at the time, Matthew Stafford and company. So do I think that Cincinnati wants to move Joe Burrow? Definitely not. Would this be a great time for Cincinnati to do so? Definitely, because they can probably pick up bare minimum 2 firsts and then some, but I'm assuming even 3 firsts because of Joe Burrow. Those kind of quarterbacks don't grow on trees. And they can kind of jumpstart their reset out there, get some nice defenders in the draft, free up a ton of cap space. I mean, if you move on from Burrow, you guarantee you're probably dangling Jamar Chase and T. Higgins out there, in a trade as well, because again, you're kind of trying to hit the reset button there. Minnesota is a very interesting team because of their head coach. O'Connell's a great offensive mind. He would do damage out there. Justin Jefferson, former teammate at LSU. They have a young rookie signal caller in J.J. McCarthy, and maybe Cincinnati would take on and add some extra pieces, some draft capital as well. Minnesota has a ton that they can offer potentially to Cincinnati, including, again, a young rookie or a young quarterback on a rookie deal, which McCarthy does not look like the real deal at all. But hey, he may go to Cincinnati. He may go to Cincinnati and be the guy. Who's to say, right? But I have to say this: this is the year where the Raiders need to draft their quarterback. I've said this a lot in recent shows. We need to draft our quarterback. The only way I am okay with moving on from a ton of draft capital and potentially even a few players to go get Joe Burrow is if we rattle off a win or two here at the end of the season, these next 4 weeks, and we are out of the whole, Mendoza, potentially Dante Moore sweepstakes. If we're sitting there at 5, and we know we're going to miss out on those quarterbacks, or you could potentially package up a ton of draft capital and move up, right? You could do that, or hear me out. You can use that first round draft pick. You can use next year's and some other pieces, and then you can make a move for Joe Burrow if he is available. So again, I want to say this: the only way that I am on the phone if I'm SpyTech, and again, SpyTech has done this in the past, you guys. What have they done in Tampa Bay with him out there helping that regime? They brought in Tom Brady, a veteran quarterback. They won a Super Bowl. They go and bring in Baker Mayfield, who Tampa is struggling right now. They lost to a really bad Atlanta Falcons team last night, but Baker did not have a bad game by any means, and he's having actually a really good season. I think he has like 20 touchdowns to 6 picks, so it's really not Baker's fault at all, but he likes veteran quarterbacks. It's clear cut. I mean, you see it. I mean, he comes from that. And again, watching the Raiders this year, what did he do? Traded a 3rd-round pick, brought in a 34-year-old at the time, Geno Smith, to be the quarterback, to kind of be the bridge, to potentially help usher in the Cam Miller era or whoever it is that they think is going to be the future at the quarterback position. But again, this is the year where we have to get a quarterback, simple and plain. If we are there in the top 2 and it's Dante Moore or if it's Mendoza, I am fine with that. But if you fall out of that top 3 where you potentially cannot bring in one of those top quarterbacks, then I believe it would be the right move to potentially say, you know what, take this draft pick, take next year's draft pick, take a couple players, a Tyree Wilson, a young guy who we're definitely not going to pick up the 5th-year option, you guys. It's just not going to happen. Maybe Cincinnati see something in him and they take him in a package deal and we send him a bunch of draft capital, 4 or 5 picks. I mean, it honestly, when you look at that Matthew Stafford deal, you know, Goff was the big prize that Detroit got back, but there was a ton of draft capital tied to that as well. So you kind of have to look at that trade and think kind of where we are, you know, in the grand scheme of things of what it would cost in order to go get a Joe Burrow. Because it would cost more to go get a 29-year-old Joe Burrow than it would at the time trading for a 33-year-old, I believe, Matthew Stafford when he went to the Rams. So all I'm saying is this, you guys, if we are right there, top 2 picks, if we're right here, right now, I'm not trading to go get Joe Burrow. Again, you know, when you look at how many games he's missed in recent memory, right? He's missed a ton of games. I mean, this year he's only played in 4 games. Last year, you know, he played in all 17, which was great. In 2023, only played in 10 games, okay? The year before that, played in all those games in 2021, 2022. All those games. His rookie season, he played in 10 games. But again, in the last 2 or 3 years, he's missed a ton of ball games. And, you know, the hand injury, there's been a lot that has gone into Joe Burrow missing a ton of football out there in Cincinnati. What version of Joe Burrow are we getting? Again, I know that Tom Brady is sitting over there with Spytech, potentially salivating at the opportunity to bring in a 6'4", 215-pound quarterback that just a few weeks ago, you guys, he said that C.J. Carr is the best college quarterback since Joe Burrow. C.J. Carr is the best quarterback in college since Joe Burrow. Remember that. Again, Joe Burrow is a major fan of Tom Brady. For those who are not in the know, a lot of people have tried to compare the two. And Joe Burrow in the past has said, no, you can't even put me in the same category as the greatness that Tom Brady has, you know, displayed. But he also said that Tom Brady is a mentor, okay? A guy that has mentored him up to this point and called him the GOAT. You know what I mean? So there is definitely a connection here in terms of if we could get this done, Tom Brady is the ace up the Raiders' sleeve, so to speak. Just like Ben Johnson, we would have never had a chance to even have a talk with him if it wasn't for Tom Brady. The only reason, again, you guys, we were in discussions with Matthew Stafford, allegedly, was because of the connection with Tom Brady and them meeting in Montana at like a ski lounge or something like that. And the Raiders ended up being the team that the Rams were kind of competing against, you know, in terms of the team that he may want to go to. He may want to force himself out of Los Angeles and go to the Raiders. And we see what happened now. Stafford is doing wonderful things in LA. Devontae and you know, they have a great roster, great coaching staff up there. Shula, LaFleur, McVay. I mean, their coaching staff is creme de la creme at the NFL level. But again, I have to say this. There is a connection here. And if we miss out on those top quarterbacks, and I don't really know what Spytech's plan is anyways. I can't sit here and act as though I know what Spytech wants to do. We could be the number 1 pick in the draft next year, and these guys may not be in love with any of these quarterbacks, and then they trade back and pick up a bunch of future draft capital, and they may pinpoint their quarterback next year. We don't know. Again, a better class in 2027. So, something to monitor. Again, I know Jamar Chase kind of came out yesterday and said that there's really nothing to see here. They're very close, former teammates at LSU, and they played their whole career in Cincinnati together. So I think if anybody knows Joe Burrow more than anybody, it's going to be Jamar Chase. So there may not be a lot to see here, you know, in terms of this whole situation. Maybe he was just really defeated that day and kind of just spoke about how he felt at that moment. We don't know. Who's to say? But again, if we fall out of that top 2, top 3, you have to take a look and see what it would cost in order to bring Joe Burrow in if he tries to get out of Cincinnati and Cincinnati is willing to part ways with him. Now, I see a lot of people in the chat, see a lot of people on Twitter saying, why would Joe Burrow want to leave Cincinnati to go to a situation in Las Vegas? Well, again, this is Joe Cool right here, right? This is a guy that, can potentially make a ton of more money marketing, and all that other stuff in Las Vegas. He would be the guy, you guys. He would be the guy in the bright lights. Everywhere you go down the strip, Joe Burrow's face will be everywhere. That is what the Raiders have been trying to get for a long time. That is the reason why we have been tied to a lot of these other superstar quarterbacks or star quarterbacks in recent memory, even though we were not able to get them in the building. There was a reason why we Aaron Rodgers was tied to them. Tom Brady and Graphk was tied to the Raiders because, again, Las Vegas needs that superstar. You need to be able to sell this fan base and that local hub out there in Las Vegas, those people on something. You bring in Joe Burrow, he is the guy. He is the bright lights. You're going to see his face on sides of hotels and all that stuff. Again, he's not having fun in Cincinnati. Well, I can tell you personally that Las Vegas is a lot more fun than Cincinnati. I've been there multiple times. Okay. So definitely the fun factor is there. And again, more money, no state tax. Maybe Tom Brady can sell him on being the guy out there. You have Ashton Genty, you have Brock Bowers, you have Max Crosby. There's some star power out there that can help lure Joe Burrow out there. Again, quarterbacks go to the Jets to die. That is another team that Dan O put out there that maybe they could potentially do it. They have a ton of draft capital, you guys. So again, if anyone was going to make a trade for Joe Burrow, I don't know. I think, honestly, the Jets are trying to prepare for next year. I think that they're trying to prepare for 2027. Now, again, they can package all those 3 picks next year in the first, the 2 this year. They can send a haul to Cincinnati and go get Joe Burrow right now. And then they got Joe Cool 2.0 out there with the Jets. It can happen. That area out there, it's a ton of money out there for Joe Burrow. But again, we have the Tom Brady factor in Las Vegas. And again, we've had success in the past where it's like, Burrow, you can return us to greatness. You can be the guy that can help instill commitment to excellence, bringing that back. Just win, baby, bringing that back. But again, we need to add to that defense in free agency and in the draft. And we have to add to that O-line in the offseason as well, because again, Burrow is struggling out there because of what? Bad defense and non-existent O-line. So again, some people ask, why would he want to go to the Raiders? There's a ton of reasons there for you. Money talks. At the end of the day, yes, Burrow would want to win, but what other teams? There's only going to be bad teams that are going to come calling for him, unless this is the scary thing here, you guys. McVay and the Rams. That shit scares me. They got the Falcons pick this year, which is a top 10 pick, I believe, right now, because of the Falcons moving their first round pick last year. And the Rams have, I believe they have all their future picks right now. Stafford may retire after this year. It would be absolutely frightening to see McVay potentially go make a move for the guy that he beat in the Super Bowl. That would be crazy. So that is the only team I think, in my eyes, they're not going to make a move with Pittsburgh. I know that he mentioned that team. He mentioned the Raiders. He mentioned the Jets. He mentioned the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cincinnati's not going to play ball with Pittsburgh. I don't care what they offer. It is what it is. It's an in-division thing. They're not going to have one of their rivals take their superstar quarterback and go win some Super Bowls. The owner would never hear the end of it. So again, what teams would potentially make a move? Are the Falcons sold on Michael Penix to be the future guy? Maybe the Falcons can make a call. There's a few other teams out there, maybe the Carolina Panthers. Maybe they say, hey, we're winning some games, with our guy out here right now, but we can use that. So I don't know. Maybe some other teams pop out, in attempt to make some calls and see if he is available. But it's clear cut. The Raiders are one of those teams who need a true number one quarterback. So again, this is my take on Joe Burrow, you guys. It's a no for me unless the Raiders fall out of the top 3. If we cannot find a way to get one of those young quarterbacks in Vegas through the draft, this upcoming draft in April, then you have to say, you know what, maybe we just sell these pieces, sell a few pieces, on the defensive side of the football, send some draft capital and bring in your superstar quarterback. All I'm saying is we've seen crazy shit happen in sports. We've seen Luka get traded from Dallas to LA. We've seen a lot of crazy trades in the past. And I think the last real crazy quarterback trade was Matthew Stafford and Goff from Detroit to LA, which was insane at the time. But we've seen stranger things. You just never know. Heat check. Graphk, is there any real smoke behind any of this? I don't know. Honestly, I don't. But I'll tell you that the media right now is definitely adding fuel to the fire. I believe that Cincinnati doesn't even want to think about moving on from Joe Burrow. But I can say that since he's been there, they won some games. They've been, really good at times, went to the Super Bowl, and then they've had some really, really, really down seasons out there. And it's clear cut that Joe Burrow was looking at that line and saying, I am beat up every year because these dudes can't block up front for me. So if they really have a plan in Las Vegas to build that O-line up and get it right and get the right dude in there to help coach those guys and develop some of these young guys, maybe Burrow would say, get me out there to Vegas. We don't know. But I know Dan Orlowski, former Detroit Lion quarterback, went out there and said some things. This is what he had to say, you guys, on, I forgot what show it was. I believe it was on ESPN. First and foremost, this is what Joe Burrow said. If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. I've been through a lot and it's not fun. Then what am I doing it for? I've been through more than most. It's certainly not easy on the brain or the body. So I'm just trying to have fun doing it again. There's a lot of things going on right now. Lots of things going on right now. Now, again, the Bengals defense, salute to Just Blog, baby, is dead last in points allowed. The team is 0-3 when scoring 34 more points or more. So this offense is doing their job. The defense can't stop a nosebleed. And it's clear that there's kind of a divide in that locker room because I don't know if you remember, but some of those guys were kind of going back and forth. I forgot what game it was after, but, a few of the offensive guys were like, hey, in a nutshell, the defense needs to step their game up because we're doing everything that we need to do in order for this football team to win games. Now, Adam Schefter went on to say this, you guys. That's a contemplative, reflective, thoughtful Joe Burrow who still is processing where he is at this season and how he wants to proceed. The quote is, if I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. If you're raising that question at the end of the year, then there is a major issue going on in his mind and in that organization. Schefter said, I would think he probably hasn't felt supported. The offensive line has not protected him. The defense has failed him. The personnel has not been good around him. And it is within Joe Burrow's right to say and do whatever he wants. He will have a huge say in whether he wants to keep playing or whether he wants to keep playing in Cincinnati. I can tell you this, there were other teams around the league that took notice of that. Now, again, Dan Orlowski over at ESPN had this to say after Adam Schefter said that. It's the beginning of the end for Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. The organization has failed him, obviously. If I'm the Jets, if I'm the Raiders, if I am the Vikings, if I am the Steelers, I'm figuring out a way coming off of what happened just yesterday, getting together and saying, how do we get Joe Burrow? How do we start the process of making Joe Burrow our quarterback? Because he obviously no longer wants to be in Cincinnati. So, there you have it right there with all the news around Joe Burrow. You guys, again, are saying that the Raiders would definitely be one of those teams to keep an eye on because, again, we have a very, very we have a need at the quarterback position, especially after this year with Geno Smith running the show. It's been nasty. So he checked. There may be some smoke here. Again, do I think that Cincinnati wants to move on from Joe Burrow? Definitely not. Definitely not. But again, if he says, hey, I want out of here, I think that they'll do everything in their power to get him where, well, first of all, they'll try to convince him to stay in Cincinnati. And then again, I think if he doubles down, they'll get him to where he wants to go. Because again, he's done a lot for that area up there in regards of football. Salute to X. We aren't getting Burrow. We have no home advantage. I'll tell you one thing, X. If you have Joe Burrow in the building, there will be a lot more Raider fans in the building. So I disagree with you, brother. Simple and plain. I'm telling you now, X, if the Raiders somehow, some way got Joe Burrow, things would change in terms of home field advantage. It just is what it is. More Raider fans are coming out because guess why? We actually feel that we have a chance to win football games. That's what brings guys out to spend over $1,000, on tickets and then another $1,000 on flights and hotels. That's what sells the fan base on. We can win every single game with Joe Burrow in the building. So I disagree with you, brother. I believe that if Burrow came in, we would have a home field advantage because, again, the fan base will be sold on being able to go out there and win football games. Bubba Salute Graph, are you going out to Houston? I don't know, bro. To be honest, the plan was to initially go out there, throw some parties and stuff. But again, I don't want to drive 4.5, 5 hours down to Houston, to go watch at the time, a 2-12, 2-13, you know what I mean? Like, it's not even fun at this point. I would rather stay home, save my money. It's a few days before Christmas. I just spent crazy money on my sons for Christmas. So I'm probably going to sit this one out, brother. Real talk. I think the next move I make is going to be for the draft in Pittsburgh and then the Shrine Bowl, Senior Bowl in the offseason and the Combine in Indianapolis. Me and Stu are already working out our schedule right now around that. Salute to Spivey, gifting 5 OLV Raiders Network memberships. My dog, the Kevin Nash and Mount Shieldmore. If you guys want to become a member, hit the link. It's pinned up top. Salute to all the new members in the building because of one of the GOATs over here, my guy Spivey, man. Salute. Mike, what are your chances Rivers starts a game for the Colts rather than us winning a game? Salute from Stockton, man. Salute to the 209. Love Stockton, man. Love Modesto. Love that whole area. Let me say this. He's probably going to start Sunday. There's already rumors and reports coming out of Indianapolis. He signed to their practice squad. They're probably going to run with him this Sunday, which is absolutely crazy. But he already knows the playbook. He has familiarity with the system. He knows the head coach. He's probably going to go out there at 44 years old and start for Indianapolis this weekend. I would not be shocked if he is the guy to go out there and get it rolling. So again, Indiana Jones out for the season. I think Riley Leonard dealing with an injury. He's out as well. Anthony Richardson, I believe, is on the IR. All signs are pointing towards Phillip Rivers starting this weekend. Hug, I can't say it online right now because they both watch the show. It's funny. I go in the comment section and I see them saying stuff, defending me. That's my dad. Don't say about. So they watch. I can't say too much, but just know that they broke my pockets down, brother. They broke my pockets down. Me and my wife are gifting each other air this Christmas for sure. So this is going to be the best Christmas that they've had in their lifetime for sure in terms of presents, man. So we went out there and we did the most this year. So salute to my guy, man. But other than that, you guys, I have to say this again to kind of break down the whole Joe Burrow thing. I think it is a long shot. I think that there is some other teams out there that could potentially bring him in. Minnesota is definitely a team to keep an eye on. And then again, Atlanta, another team to monitor because are they sold on Michael Penix? He's kind of been up and down up to this point. They have, some really intriguing players on the defensive side of the football and on the offensive side of the football with Drake London and Bijan Robinson and stuff. They have some pieces out there in Atlanta. If they had a real true quarter, a QB1, a superstar like Joe Burrow, that would take them to the next level. Especially with them potentially moving on, not potentially, they're going to move on from their head coach. And they'll probably bring in an offensive-minded guy that, if they went out and tried to get Joe Burrow, that it would work with them. So, yeah. Let me see. JMC, could you give us an extra graph and ways to show this Christmas? Salute to my guy, JMC. Definitely working on putting that show together this weekend, brother. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. We'll definitely have probably at least 2 shows before Christmas. So stay tuned with it. Wipe them feet, y'all. Hit them thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribing, what are y'all waiting on? Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Salute to Daniel Caps in the building, Tyree Clay, all my guys in the building, 87 Nada, Green Dot Gang is heavy in the building. So salute to Hyper. He says, I grew up without a dad. Me too, bro. I hope I can be as good as a father as you want. I appreciate you, Hype. That means a lot to me, bro. That means a lot to me, bro. I always overcompensate myself because I didn't grow up without a dad. You know what I mean? So I grew up without a father. So always make sure that my sons get everything, including time, out of me, before God calls me home. So that is my first job, over any of this is making sure that I'm a good father to my boys. Salute to show in the building. Salute Graphk. But do we want another retread quarterback? And I'm being honest and not get a quarterback from the ground up. This is the thing, show. This is not a retread. This is not a retread. This is Joe fucking Burrow. You know what I'm saying, brother? Like, this isn't Jimmy G. This isn't Gardner Minshew. This isn't Geno Smith. It isn't Brian Hoyer. It isn't Derek Carr. And he's a homegrown talent. There's no knock to him. This is Joe fucking Burrow. You know what I mean? Like, there's just levels to this shit. Like, he is, when healthy, a top 3 quarterback in football. Again, I would take him over, and I'm talking about fully healthy Joe Burrow. I'm taking him over a Josh Allen. I'm taking him over a Lamar Jackson. There's only one other quarterback in the NFL that I look at that's kind of in that rarefied air, and it's Patrick Mahomes. And I like Josh Allen, and I love Lamar Jackson. But this is not one of those situations. Now, again, I'm saying when healthy, again, but he's not a retread show at all. But I agree with you. If this regime, if Spytek and Brady believe that Mendoza can be the guy of the future, that can be that guy, be the next Joe Burrow or the next Josh Allen or whatever, then there's no need to even entertain this shit. Again, you can bring in a guy in his early 20s and have him be the guy for the next 10 plus years, and not bring in a 29-year-old who will be 30 next year, I believe, with a ton of injuries on his resume. So again, we shall see. So the show. Salute to my guy, June. Goat Graphk, sales from home. Salute to my guy, man. Appreciate you on a $2 smackaroonie, man. Salute to my sis, Hannah, in the building. Me and Bop, brother, said, what's up, cuz? And I love you, man. Hold on. What brother you with? Salute to my brother, Young Bop. Who you with, sis? What brother? Because, you know, Bop got the Wayans family over there. What brother you talking about? Salute to sis in the building. Love you to death. He says salute. Okay, I got what you were saying, brother. Salute to you. Appreciate you, my guy. Yeah, and Young. You with Jonathan. Tell my dog Jonathan I said what's up. That's my dog, man. Last time I seen Jonathan, he was young. Like young. That's my dog, though, man. I love my boy Jonathan, man. Burrow, 29, but in NFL years, he's like 34 with wear and tear. Again, you know, let's do this real quick, you guys. Let's do this. Joe Burrow injury history. Okay, let's do this. All right. Joe Burrow has a significant injury history, including a 2017 hand fracture, Ohio State, torn rib cartilage, 2020 LSU, a devastating ACL, MCL, PCL, meniscus tear in his rookie year in 2020, a dislocated pinky finger, MCL sprain 2022 Super Bowl, a calf strain 2023 training camp, a torn wrist ligament 2023, and most recently a grade 3 turf toe. That's the one he just came back from, requiring surgery in 2025, leading to multiple missed games and season-ending injuries. So again, very, very, very extensive injury history. So again, once again, I love Joe Burrow, but I prefer to lose out these next 4 weeks and go get your quarterback, whether that's Mendoza or if Dante Moore comes out of Oregon. I don't care who it is. Go get that guy. Now, again, if you fall out of the top 3 and you know you're going to miss out on those quarterbacks, I would not put it past Tom Brady, Spytek, Mark Davis, and company to say, go get the shiny toy. Go get the for sure thing. Go get Joe Burrow. So, again, we shall see. Burrow hasn't spoke, you guys, since at least I haven't seen it since the last media session where he seemed very down and he had all these words that led to all this noise. So I don't know where he is right now. He can come out today and say, you guys, I want to be in Cincinnati. I'm just frustrated in this offseason. We need to build up the O-line and we got to get the defense right. Then we won't be having this conversation anymore. Yo, Hug, you are an absolute demon, brother. You salute to my brother, man. Hug, man. That is absolutely crazy, bro. Hug, my brother, man. Forever indebted to you, my brother. Salute, salute, salute. This may be one of the biggest supers that we've ever got over here at OLV Raiders Network, without doing the St. Jude shows and the giveaway shows. Forever indebted, man. Love you, brother. Merry Christmas to you and your beautiful family, man. Thank you so much. $200, man. Graphk, be sneaky and get Tiff something dope for Christmas. Your queen always deserves it. She keeps our favorite brother happy. Blessings to you and Merry Christmas. Man, bro, Hug, I love you, bro. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I want to put that back on the screen. I'm going to read this other super real quick. Salute to my sis. Yeah, he didn't know you was my brother. Laugh out loud. We were on FaceTime watching you together. Here laughing. He didn't know you was from Meadowview. Laugh out loud. I said, yep, laugh out loud. 24th Street, 47th Ave. But I grew up over on Farron and Tamashanner in my great-grandmother's house. So back and forth from the View to 24th and 47th. But I'm just an Iraq baby. You know what I mean? But I definitely grew up in Meadowview for sure, over off Farron in Tamashan, or over there by the old, the Meadowview Community Center and shit. So my aunt still lives over there. But again, I definitely grew up in that area. But 24th and 47th, over by Airport Little League by Hogan, that's where I grew up, by CP Huntington Elementary School on the other side of Campbell's Soup. So, but Meadowview is definitely in my DNA. Salute to you, sis. I got to put that back up, man. That's just crazy. Salute to you. Appreciate you, brother. You just definitely made my day, man. I appreciate you, bro. Salute to my dog. Alex, we sold on Ty Simpson. I heard he's injured. Alex, this is the thing. If they believe in him, fucking bank fraud alerts, let me know if you got that graph. Real talk. I got you, brother. I got you. I definitely will. I'll definitely let you know. Okay. If they're sold on Ty, if they still believe in the 6'2", QB out of Alabama, he had definitely a bad game against Georgia. That defense was all over the place. But if they're sold on him and they want to move back, they want to trade back and still pick him up and pick up some extra draft capital. Look, if Spytech and Brady are sold on Ty Simpson, look, I like Ty Simpson. So I have no issue bringing him in, but you would have to trade back in order to make me feel like that's the guy you bring in. So, but we'll see. We'll see. We're not too far away, you guys. April is right around the corner. Man, Mike, I lived in the apartment side and the brick side in the G. Both. I used to go to the candy store in the bricks, candy store on the apartment side. Salute to my brother Ray and Sean. I used to be all over the place over there in the G. Apartment side and the bricks. So, yeah, Federal facts. Right there at the railroad, right there at the train tracks. Andrew, I appreciate you. I don't think I've ever really wore this. Honestly, I think me and Andy bought this at the same time. I don't think I've ever really wore it. So to Daniel, why I love this show, a Raider at heart. Don't have to hear you send in $100 super chat. I'll take a shot. That's the difference between real and corporate. Daniel Caps, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Heat check says, Graphk, where did you live in Arizona? Tempe, 52nd and Van Buren? Right there in Tempe, right there behind the airport. There was like a 7-Eleven or a little gas station right there, right over the underpass, right where the A's used to play. Literally right there, this apartment complex. I used to live right there on the side of where the A's used to play, right there in Tempe. Salute to my guy 2-4, gifting 5 OLV Raiders Network memberships. My brother, man, I appreciate you. Salute to another GOAT over here and one of the my fathers in the building, man. Salute. As always, my guy 2-4. Salute to all the new members in the building. Hit that link up top, you guys, if you guys want to become a member. I see a few people asking about how they can become members. Hit the link. It's pinned up top. Let me see. Salute. My sis Hannah again over here losing her mind right now. You grown ass man looking ass. He said you look grown now. Love you and miss you. I told him you didn't do songs with me because I'm we got a few records together, sis. Don't act like we never been in the studio together. I got hella songs with my brother Young Bop as well. So interesting story here, you guys, and you can ask Bop. Bop was in the docks originally. Salute to my brother Young Bop. Well, he was one of us, one of us. And we were there. We told him to go get with Nut Factor because of him and T Nutty. They had similar styles. And we were right there with him saying, you need to make that move. And it worked out really cool for him, man. So him and Nutty did some great things out there. So salute to my brother Bob. Let's get back to some football, y'all. Salute to Raider Rick. Saw an interesting stat. Luck in 84 games was sacked 174 times. Burrow is on pace to obliterate that in fewer games. Might be the reason he's pissed. And there was a lot of talk there, Rick, as well, of Joe Burrow and the Andrew Luck situation being very much so the same. Again, Andrew Luck retired way before he should have. And I'm not going to say that he should have. He's doing great things. I think he's a general manager out there with Stanford. He's trying to turn that thing over out there and get them right on the right page again out there in Stanford, his former school, which is great. But Andrew Luck was like one of them ones and then just left on top. It was like Barry Sanders, like left when there was still a lot of tread left on the wheels. But again, when you get hit that many damn times, you're just like, you know what? My health means a lot more than going out here and trying to win ball games for this football team. So again, there's very much so that's a great comparison with Andrew Luck and Burrow. He's definitely on pace to definitely crack that 174 time. That's crazy. Salute to my sis as well, becoming a member. And I told you before, when I get to sack this next time, I'll be out there very soon. We're going to connect, sis. Salute to my sis. Love you to death. Get a few more questions in, you guys. Again, and I want to put out an interesting stat as well, you guys. Joe Burrow has not really played us that many times against the Raiders. So for those who are kind of just like a casual fan that doesn't really watch a lot about what's going on in the NFL and only watches Raider games, he's faced us 3 times, you guys. Twice in the regular season where he's beaten us twice. 2-0, 68 attempts, 399 yards in the year, 6 touchdowns to go with 1 pick. And that's in 2 games. So he absolutely destroyed us. Playoffs. Everyone remembers the wild card. We went out there to Cincinnati. Everybody remembers the last, Derek Carr pick to end the game. Jermaine Pratt picked him off there at the goal line. And next thing you know, we're off back to Las Vegas with another L, but it was great to see us find a way into the playoffs that year regardless. But beat us there. 24 completions, 34 attempts, 244 yards in the year, 2 touchdowns to go with 0 picks. So Joe Burrow against the Raiders is 3-0 in his career. So he's never lost against this Raiders football team. So interesting stat there. And then again, we talked about Dan Orlowski talking about the Raiders, Jets. Who else? It was Pittsburgh, which doesn't make any sense at all because they're not going to play ball with one of their divisional rivals, and the Vikings. So keep an eye, man. We're going to definitely keep a close eye on this Joe Burrow situation as we go into the offseason, because the timing of it which is the most interesting part about it is the timing. It's only 4 weeks left. It's going to be a crazy offseason. We have 10 draft picks. We have top money in salary cap. I think we're like second in salary cap in the offseason, and then we have even more money the following season. So we would be one of those teams that could definitely take on that contract and move a ton of draft capital if we choose to. And then again, you guys, the connection between how much respect Joe Burrow has for Tom Brady. He considers him a mentor. There's that connection. So keep an eye on Tom Brady in the offseason, potentially being able to lure, Joe Burrow out to Las Vegas. We shall see. But again, I am keeping, I'm holding out hopes, you guys, that we lose out these next 4 weeks. And we pinpoint our quarterback in the draft, which is a Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore, one of those type of guys. So that's the route I would rather go. So, but we shall see. But again, if we miss out on those top quarterbacks in this year's class, and Spy Tech is feeling the pressure and doesn't want to wait until 2027, if Tom Brady says, I don't want to wait until 2027, I can definitely see the Raiders saying, take this first this year, which is going to be probably a top 5 pick, take next year's first in a deep quarterback class and sell off a few other pieces, and boom. So VV says $100 for a 60-second FaceTime call. Crazy, brother. Crazy. Wild. We don't sell ass around here, VV. So appreciate you for being here, brother. But yeah, we definitely don't go all out for any type of dollar sign. So I just want you to know that, bro. It's not going to happen. Salute to my God. Oh, you a funny dude. Salute to Ron Justice. Merry Christmas, man. I appreciate you, my brother. He's been a member for over a year. One of the GOATs over here. And then he just blesses us with 20 OLV Raiders Network memberships. One of the GOATs over here. Ron Justice, I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you so much, man. You guys are absolutely going batshit on today's Coffee and Convo, man. I appreciate you guys. Between that and Hug and all you guys gifting all those memberships, wow. You guys are definitely goated. And I want to say this as well. I appreciate you guys so much for donating and adding to the memberships during this time. I know Christmas is very, it's difficult for anybody to gift any money or any memberships around this time. A lot of us have kids. A lot of us have a lot of kids. A lot of us have wives and big families. So, man, just thank you guys for whatever it is. Whoever's sending $1, $1.99, $1.99 like Hug, 20 gifting OLV. that just means a lot to me because I know what time of the year it is. And I just appreciate you guys because you guys can be doing anything with that money, but you choose to, you come over here and connect with us, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So, Hug, I appreciate you, brother. You don't see this on any other YouTube channel. Join the greatest chat in YouTube history. Listen to the GOAT. Listen to the GOAT, Hug Dizzle himself. Appreciate you, brother. Salute to Dan. Why would Burrow want to come to the Raiders? He would be playing with another bad O-line. Nothing will change until they fix the O-line. Well, this is the thing, right? Dan, again, I've given several reasons in the show. Run it back if you just joined why he would want to come to the Raiders. But again, I am one of those guys that is a firm believer in we're not that far off with this O-line. I know I absolutely beat it up, but it's because of Brendan Carroll running the show. All you got to do is bring in an actual guy that knows what the hell he's doing to run that O-line. You got Colton Miller coming back. He is very much so a good, at minimum, but tops great left tackle. You got JPJ coming back. If you move him back to center, which would be phenomenal, we'd be in for a great. But if we don't, you put him at left guard. You go get a center in free agency, whether it's Linderbaum or go get one in the draft. You got Caleb Rogers who's showing a ton of promise. You still have DJ Glaze on the roster, but again, you still have Charles Grant, a guy you just drafted in the third round. I don't think we're that far off. We watched Chicago, Dan, go from one of the worst O-lines in football, and in one offseason, bring in Ben Johnson, watch their GM go trade for a Jonah Jackson, bring in, the center from Atlanta in free agency, make some moves there on that O-line, and now they have a real serviceable O-line. So I don't think we're that far off. I think we just need a guy that knows what he's doing there to coach that O-line and coach some of these young guys up. And then again, we have a free agency period in the draft class where we have 10 picks and we have a ton of salary cap, over $100 million. So I'm not too much worried about us being able to build this O-line up. And again, Spytech, what did he say, you guys, when he first came into the building? He said, I'm a Michigan guy. We know what it means to have those big bodies up front. So I trust that Spytech is going to get this O-line right in the offseason and find the right guy to come in and coach these guys up. So look, maybe I'm wrong, Dan, and I understand, the pessimist, being so pessimistic about this O-line. But again, I don't think we're that far off. I really, really don't. I think in next year, this O-line is going to be very much so improved with somebody that it improves drastically just firing Brendan Carroll and then playing some of these guys in the right positions. I mean, honestly, if you have Grant, let's just say Charles Grant, who's been, a left tackle at the college level in William & Mary, but he ends up being a really, really good right tackle, right? Well, then you got Grant there. If you have JPJ at center, we all believe that he could be an all-pro center. And then you have Colton Miller at left tackle. That's already 3 players there that are playing in the right position, and they can change things. Again, Charles Grant, I think, could be a great right tackle. And I think that he will be the future left tackle once we move on from him. I think he will be the future at the left side. But again, we're not that far off. We're really not. Alex, man, thoughts on fans being called fake for wanting to lose and draft the quarterback? Fuck them. That's what I think, Alex. Fuck them. I don't really care. I don't really give a shit. Look, let me say this. I'm on that train. This is not a tank job, you guys. Once again, I'm going to say it like I said yesterday. It's a very bad football team right now on both sides of the ball, and the coaching staff is terrible. So, but I don't give a fuck. Fuck them. Like, honestly, I don't care. Look, man, I left a really good job to do this for a living. My whole life revolves around the Raiders. I grew up at Oakland Coliseum. I have traveled to Tennessee, to Cincinnati. I mean, the list goes on. New Orleans. I've been all over this, this country following this football team. I go to every alumni party every year and bring on. Look, man, my whole life revolves around this team. If you want to call me a fake fan, I just think it's laughable at this point. So I'm all for everybody saying, hey, lose out and let's go get our guy. I don't give a shit. I don't care. You can't tell me nothing, dog. Everything that I own is Raiders. Everything. If it's a wardrobe wise and all that, it's got to be a 95%, and then the other 5% is Oakland A's, Notre Dame, San Jose Sharks, Sacramento Kings. So I don't really care. All that shit is funny to me. I find that funny. Salute to my sis. Stop, sis. Relax. Love you. Thank you on the $2 as always. But yeah, I don't really, that whole fake fan shit is hilarious to me. You can never allow anybody to dictate, how your fandom should go. All that fake, I watch people that go to every game and call other people that don't go to every games fake fans. Well, you guys, everybody doesn't have the time and the money and the freedom to do so. Some people have to actually work 2 or 3 jobs to survive out here in these streets. So I always find it funny when they call people fake. It's like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, for real. So I'm not going to be one of those guys to call people fake fans. It is what it is. There are a few people out there that want to act like they're bigger fans than they are. And I can definitely agree with that. You know what I mean? But again, fan how you want to fan. Simple and plain. We're 2-11 right now. If this team will be better next year, not winning a game this year for the remainder of the season, shit, go out there and lose by double digits. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care. Because again, you can go win these next 4 games, you guys, and we're not going to the playoffs. It's not going to do anything for us. Nothing. No one is going to remember, you guys. We have 2 wins right now. Let's just say we win out. We win the next. No one is going to remember a 6-11 team another year from now. No one is ever going to go back and say, man, you remember that 6-11 squad? Nobody at all. No one's going to remember that team. All of us are going to try and put that in our rear view and not ever think about that year again, because 6-11 to me is as bad as fucking 2-15. Salute to Raider Ryan. Thank you for all of the Raider counseling over these past 34 months. I couldn't have made it through all this disappointing time without you guys. My brother, thank you for allowing us to be here to do these shows and you join us, man. I appreciate you, my brother. Member for 34 months. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Salute to my guy, Raider Ryan. So this is the laugh right here. Say, cold-blooded. I got a limited edition axe. Y'all don't know. My sis Hannibal is the only woman out there in the world that used to wear axe. Swear to God, bro. We would go over there to her house and spray down axe because we knew she was the axe woman. This is the Paul Bunyan of deodorant, you guys, in cologne. Paul Bunyan. Axe. You are acknowledged, kind sir. Salute to my guy Rocket on the $2 donation. I appreciate you, brother. Salute to Spivey. If Graphk is a fan, then I'm Miss America. I always laugh at that stuff. You know what's funny, Spivey? When I first got into this and people would say that, it would bother me. And I just realized, I'm like, you can never just make everybody happy. It's just never going to happen. Let me tell you guys this, man. As long as you are happy and your people around you are happy, that's all that matters. I used to let that shit frustrate me. I used to say, man, the only thing you can't do is call me a fake fan because that shit pisses me off. Now I just laugh about it. Because I don't really care. It doesn't mean nothing to me. Salute to my guy, Spivey. Get a few more questions in, you guys. I definitely want to talk a little bit about this Philly game before we get out of here. We will be facing a team that has struggled offensively in recent times. And, when you look at that roster and you look at that O-line, which they've been beat up this year, but you look at that Eagles offense, you think Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP, Devontae Smith and, Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown. And they got a ton of weapons out there, right? I mean, this is the 24th ranked offense right now. They're only averaging 309.4 yards a game. They have 35 offensive touchdowns this year. We are 31 right now. At 257.2 a game, we only have 21 offensive touchdowns this year. 8 of those coming from Ashton Genty. Passing offense, again, they have not been great at all. They have struggled. 22nd in the league right now, 198.9 a game. 19 touchdowns in the passing game this season. So this is not the same offense that we watched the Eagles make a run and win the Super Bowl last year. Rushing offense, you think Saquon Barkley, you think, man, this team is going to be great. Nope. Rushing, they have the 22nd rushing offense in football to match the passing offense. They only average 110.5 a game right now out there. 13 touchdowns in the rushing game this year, which is absolutely bonkers. You think of Philadelphia, you think the run attack, the rushing attack, and again, that great two-headed monster with Devontae and A.J. Brown out there. They have struggled. Scoring offense, again, they're 19th in the league. They only average 22.2 a game. So this is not by any means, you guys, a great Philadelphia offense that we're going to be facing this Sunday in a potential snow game out there in Philadelphia. Same thing defensively. You think all that talent they have on a defensive line. We are a better all-around defense, you guys, than the Philadelphia Eagles this year, which is actually crazy when you think about it, right? You think of all those names. We are a better defense. Statistically, overall, we are a better defense. Right now, we are sitting at 16th. We are still a middle-of-the-pack defense, giving up 325.8 a game and 39 touchdowns on the defensive side of the football. The Eagles are 22nd. They love that number 22 right now, giving up 341.6 a game and 27 touchdowns this season defensively. So we are a better defense right now, passing defense, okay? You look at that passing defense. They're 15th, middle of the pack right there. And again, I believe are we ahead of them or we're right there near them. They're 15th, we're 17th in passing defense. They're giving up 209.6 a game in the passing game, 13 touchdowns. We are 17th at 211.8 and gave up 19. So again, this is not a great Philadelphia Eagles football team that we are facing, you guys. They have struggled. They're kind of coming off that like Super Bowl hangover, so to speak. Rushing defense, we're better than them. We're sitting there at 16th, giving up 113.9 a game, 18 touchdowns on the ground. And I think they're somewhere, where are they at in terms of the rushing attack? 26th. So this could be a big game for Ashton Jeanty in that rushing attack. You know, even with the O-line struggling, man, they are giving up 132 a game, 14 touchdowns on the ground this year. So again, when you look at the overall, broad picture of this whole thing, this is a very beatable Philadelphia Eagles team. They have a better coaching staff than us. They have a better overall roster on both sides of the football than we do. But again, they have been on a downhill ride this season, and they're fighting for their playoff lives right now. They're fighting to still win their division this year, with the Cowboys kind of creeping behind them, not too much far behind. So in terms of offensively and defensively, and I'm just talking about, overall, this isn't that far off, you guys. The only thing that, in terms of offense is we're one of the worst offenses in football. And this would be a defense right now where you could potentially right the ship this week with Kenny Pickett out there, some new energy, right? Potentially get Ashton Jeanty rolling in the ground game. And I would like to see a healthy dosage of, excuse me, of Brock Bowers and Jack Bech this weekend. I want to see Jack Bech get more looks. I think he was targeted 6 times this past week. I want to see him get even more against this Philadelphia defense. So the things that I'm keeping an eye on this Sunday is definitely still want to lose. And I'm hoping that Philly comes out, knowing that this is a must-win game against a really bad Raiders football team. But I just want to see some new energy around Pickett. Want to see Ashton Jeanty get over 100 yards on the ground because, again, I think he's somewhere hovering around 600 yards. I think he's like 660, somewhere around there right now. 665 on the ground right now on 191 carries, averaging 3.5 a clip, 4 touchdowns on the ground, 4 touchdowns also in the air. And I believe he has somewhere a little bit close to under 300 yards in the passing game as well. So this would be a big week to see Ashton Jeanty get out there and get some things rolling in terms of the ground game. Because, again, Philadelphia definitely is not a great team against the run. So we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting to see what this game looks like Sunday. We will be covering it, me and Hammer, every step of the way, you guys. We will be doing the play-by-play these next 4 weeks. So make sure you tap in with us. The dynamic duo will be back. It's an early game, you guys, 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, 12 Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys pull up and come kick it with us. Baby Shook, I'll take Burrow over any upcoming quarterback in this draft. I hear you, brother. You just have to remember that you're inheriting also that crazy contract. You're inheriting the injury history that we went across just a second ago. Again, I'm a major, major fan of Joe Burrow. That is my favorite quarterback in the NFL. But again, can he stay healthy? 29 years old. Can he stay healthy moving forward? The thing is, if you're going to bring in a Joe Burrow, you better have a plan for that O-line. You better have a plan. You better have one of the top 10 offensive lines in 2026 to help protect him because, again, there has been an extensive injury history that comes with Joe Burrow. Salute to my guy, Baby Sugar in the building. Salute to Oscar as well on the $5 donation. Man, we really need to boycott this team until they turn it around. Raider Nation for life. Hey, man, I'm not upset about that sentiment at all. I'm already not going out to Vegas to watch any games. I don't think did I go to any games this year? I don't think. Oh, Indianapolis. I went to one in Indy. And again, we were gifted those tickets. Salute to Lou, the defensive coordinator for the Colts, and Greg Olson, our offensive coordinator. He got us those tickets. That was the only reason I even went. So again, people were saying you wasted your money. I didn't waste shit. Everything was free for me. I didn't spend a dime in Indianapolis. So salute to Ali, salute to my brother Stu and all that, and the whole team that was out there kicking it. Let me see. I like that, Dan. Third and best incoming. Talk that talk, my brother. Salute to James Graphk. Great show as always. Won't lie. Super excited if we get the Bay armed. What you mean by that, James? What you mean, brother? Maybe I'm not reading that right. Raiders guy, if everything lines up, I'm definitely at that game. That is one game I told my wife last night. I said we get a chance to watch our Raiders in the Bay back home. That is like a mandatory game. So I just need to see schedule-wise when the schedule comes out, when it is, at what point of the year. But that is definitely a game that I definitely want to go to for sure. For sure. Can't miss out any opportunity to watch the Raiders in NorCal. Even if we play them late in the season and we had a really bad season, to be honest, that's a game that I think for me is worth it because I get a chance to go see my whole family. I already got a house in San Jose where I don't have to get a room and no shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's a layup for me. Let me see. The silver and black. Can Ward potentially be in Vegas next year? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if, Tennessee's new regime that comes in the offseason is sold on Cam Ward, because if they're not, they're at the top. They could potentially go get one of those guys right now. I keep saying it, silver and black. Some people don't believe me. Like, don't put it past Tennessee going to get another quarterback. Again, they're at the top of the draft. If they think Mendoza or Dante Moore or one of those guys, the Ty Simpsons of the world, can be better than Cam Ward, I would not be shocked at all, if they moved on from him and got another quarterback. Simple and plain. I mean, it's a new coaching staff. I don't care. I think the owner and the GM is going to say, hey, if we can get a better quarterback right now, I don't think that these teams plan on being at the top of the draft every single year. So if they feel they can get better, why not? John, yes, anybody can go into the combine. It's free. You can go in there and hang out. With us, we use our NFL credentials in order to get like interviews or to sit up in the suites and kick it with like the NFLPA and stuff like that. But yeah, anybody can go. It's free. It's free. All you got to do is get out there to Indianapolis. You can definitely go. That'd be dope. That'd be dope, Punch. OLV section. That'd be fire. That'd be fire. So get a few more questions in, you guys, before we get out of here. We just hit that hour mark again. I don't want to be here too long. I got some things that I need to do today. This week has been very, very busy for me with the holidays. I got some family coming into town. Got some things I need to do around the house, and definitely with my sons. I actually salute, man, to I want to put this out there as well. This Saturday, man, my son's going to be out there working with former NFL, former Oklahoma State great wide receiver, Deshaun Woods. And I'm going to be doing some things, you guys, here soon. He's going to be playing with Deshaun Woods. He's the coach, his 7-on-7 team. And we're going to be working out this weekend with him. He won a Super Bowl with the Saints, played UDFA, went to the Jags. But once again, he did most of his damage at Oklahoma State in the college level. So I'm probably going to be doing some giveaways here soon, and doing some potential, try to run up some money for their league. I was speaking to Dejan on the phone the other day. We spoke for about an hour, and I definitely want to get involved with what they're trying to do with the youth. You know what I mean? So, and I told him we have a phenomenal community over here, you guys, and we would love to help be a part of trying to, get some money together for some of these kids that can't afford to play in the league. So keep an eye on that. Salute to my guy, Deshaun Woods, former NFL, former, Oklahoma State product. Definitely want to do some things for him and his youth movement with these kids. 10U, 12U, 14U. He's trying to work with some of these kids before they get into the high school level. And he's doing really good things. So Hug says, hey, Graphk, could I trade in my Zamir White jersey? No take backsies. No take backsies. Hug, no take backsies. I'm cool, bro. You go ahead and keep that, man. Frame that thing, man. Put it in the man cave, bro. For you, Hug, I would swap one. You know, maybe we can work something out where I'll send you a player that you want, and you can maybe I'll send you a Malcolm Kuntz for the Zamir White back if you choose to. How about that? What about a Kuntz? Maybe we can do a trade here. I'll send you a Kuntz. Salute to my guy, man. Salute also, man, once again, everybody here in the building, hitting the like button. Get those likes up. Hit that subscribe button. As always, we're trying to get to that 30K goal, you guys. We cannot do it without you guys. We do have a few more shows lined up for the week, you guys. I think me and Stu should be doing one here soon. Also, trying to get a Graphk and Wasted and Graphk show potentially in tomorrow. And then me and Hammer will be calling the game Sunday. So we're trying to end the week on a solid note. So, salute to John. Look, you guys, there's a lot of smoke about who could be the next guy, right? Robert Saleh went out there, chose to be the coordinator for the Niners. They're winning ball games out there right now. He is working wonders with how many Fred Warner out for the season, Bosa out for the season. They're working magic out there on the defensive side of the ball with how limited they are with a lot. Most of that talent is gone for the season. You know what I mean? I seen a report that Patrick Willis may come out of retirement to help at the linebacking position for the Niners. And I think he's like 40 plus years old, right? I think he's seen Phillip Rivers and was like, I can do this shit too. But and then there was reports that came out that the Raiders potentially were trying to make Robert Saleh the highest paid defensive coordinator like we did with Chip Kelly, who just got a interview with, salute to him, with Georgia Tech as the offensive coordinator, man. It's not going to be that long before he finds a gig. I'm telling you now, I am one of those guys that still believes in Chip Kelly. When you guys look at the tape, a ton of receivers were open constantly, week in and week out, constantly. I'm telling y'all now, for those who hate Chip Kelly, go back and look at some of the tape, and you're going to be like, wow, Brock was open, Besh was open, Thornton was open, Tucker was open a ton. It's absolutely crazy how much these guys were open. And, you know, Geno was not able to either find them or didn't have enough time to throw the football. But it wasn't Chip Kelly's problem. Again, the O-line was really bad. Brennan Carroll was terrible. But salute to him for getting an interview for the OC job out there at Tech. But I would not be against potentially bringing in Saleh only as a defensive coordinator. I don't want him as a head coach. I don't. You know, we see what that thing looked like with the Jets. Again, it wasn't a great situation out there. He definitely put together one of the better defenses in football out there, but offensively they continue to struggle. There had to be a plan in motion, you guys, to have one of these top OCs follow him into Las Vegas if Robert Saleh is going to be the guy to be the coach. Simple and plain. You got to have a great offensive mind come in to call that offense if Robert Saleh is going to come in to be the head coach. So it's a no for me, but if we could somehow, some way, you know, lure him away from the Niners and he doesn't get a head coaching job elsewhere, I would love for him to be the DC. Great defensive-minded guy. Great defensive-minded guy. So, yeah, Dom. I mean, look, bro, once again, you look at the offense, you schemed a lot of guys open with those limitations that we had on that O-line and the limitations that we have at the quarterback position. And I truly believe that Chip Kelly was being very, very petty on the way out, saying that it was an honor to play, you know, to coach Geno Smith and, you know, blah, blah, blah. I think he was being very petty. I don't believe any word. I don't believe any of those words that Chip Kelly said on the way out. I thought he was being petty Hardaway, petty Murphy on the way out. And I love it. I love it. But I know he had some nice words to say about Geno, and I think he was absolutely capping about every single word of it. Wouldn't it be crazy, so it's my guy Ray Glide, for you, Graphk, that Lil Graphk, God willing, goes to the NFL but plays for the Raiders? Oh, my God. That would be a dream come true. The thing is, Ray, I'm not one of those crazy dads that wants my son to think that the NFL is, you know, the end all be all. I told, you know, Coach Woods the other day, I just want him to get educated. I want him to find a way to get a full ride and get educated. That's it. That's all I want. Simple and plain. And if he finds his way into the NFL, great. But if he can get a full ride and a scholarship to get educated at one of these really good schools, that's the end goal for me. And if he somehow, some way finds his way into the NFL, phenomenal. So to my guy, Ray Glide, I appreciate you, brother. I just want my son to do things that I did not have, the luxury to do so, being educated, So, I didn't have that. I was on my own from 15, 16 on up. So I didn't have people around me trying to push me. I don't think I even got my damn GED until I was like 24 years old. You know what I mean? So I just want him to get educated, man. That's the main goal. So Demando, what about Gruden as OC? No. The Gruden days are over, Mando. And I don't think that Gruden would ever accept just being an offensive coordinator at the NFL level or any level. This is a guy that won a Super Bowl. And, in his eyes, he was having the Raiders go up. And in a lot of other guys' eyes, the last time he came in and, the team got better, each year he was out there. I don't think that in any world he would accept an offensive coordinator position. It's either head coach or bust. So that's what I think personally. So, but yeah, man. Other than that, you guys, as always, love and appreciate you so much. If anything breaks, we will be here to talk about it every step of the way. We do have a few more shows lined up for the week, so stay tuned for that. Again, thank you guys for everybody that showed up today, sending supers, who didn't send any supers, people in the comment section just letting their voices be heard, adding so much to the show. Again, we do have the greatest chat in YouTube history. Without you guys, again, this show does not work. You guys provide so much in the comment section. So even if you can't donate, please understand when you guys put those questions up and you guys create dialogue, and I see the side conversations that you guys have in the comment section, it means a lot. So I appreciate you guys so much. Hug, my dog, appreciate you on the $200 special. Means a lot. Ron Justice, thank you for the 20 gifts. My brother, that means a lot to me. You guys are goated. And we will see you guys very, very soon. We'll go get this workout in and get the rest of this house together. Love.